Sweaty and wild. I think we're just about ready to go. According to my clock, it's 9 o'clock. And another interesting day here in virus land. So what are we going to do first? I think once again, I'll post that link. Just make sure you get in there. Do that attendance because otherwise you're going to miss out. So each class period, 9 o'clock, and then again at 10 o'clock for today's class, we got to do that attendance. I think a lot of the teachers in the English department, some of them are not even using Blackboard, just WhatsApp, and they're doing different things because we only had one training session and it was 100% Arabic language and it wasn't very useful. So, most of us just kind of figured out how to use the Blackboard by ourselves, but we didn't get any instructions like to do the attendance. And I think a lot of teachers are doing similar to me, just checking who comes to the class and then transferring the attendance into Otis. Maybe some teachers are doing the automatic Blackboard attendance, but I don't think very many are doing that. So really, I think given the kind of situation we've got, we just do our best and try to use the tools we have to do our class. Now, some good news today is that I think I figured out the thing with using our Life software. So it looks like I can share that application today, which is good. And I think I figured out how to fix that because yesterday and a few times before that, I try to share it and it just like disappears. But now I think I've got it. So I sent out last night a message about assignment number 3. And we're going to talk about that also today. But so I sent out just my idea last night in that PDF file because we got a message from the university about portfolio assignment 3. And it's like the topic is my future job. We did that. It's done. So I came up with my own topic idea, which is to write about this really strange situation that we're in right now. In the document, I called it the lockdown. That just means isolation, social distancing, school canceled, shopping malls closed to protect us from the spread of the virus. So we're in this situation. It's very unusual. And I think each of us is having, different kinds of experiences being at home or maybe going out. But, it's all different. It's all changed. So we'll go over that a little bit later in class today. And we want to try some new features in this Blackboard class. But since we've got this Life software set up and I can share it, I think we begin with continuing 8C in Unit 8. We'll get that out of the way, then we can move on to do other stuff. So if you're there and you're listening, please type hi in the chat box. Let's get some feedback. I want to feel like I'm not just talking to my computer here. There's people there and listening and taking part. So awesome. That's good. Got some connection. I see so far we have 14 students who have done the attendance today. So I'm just going to pop a little message. Join the class. There we go. Okay, my cat ran away, so now I can focus on our class for today. Oh, big stretch and sip of coffee. I've got paper right beside my computer where I write down stuff to do today. And yeah, I think we just take it easy, get things done. You guys tell me if there's something else that we need to do or something you don't understand. That's great. Otherwise, we're just going to power through. And this assignment 3, we need to spend some time doing that later, maybe our 10 o'clock class. Okay. Here we are. Unit 8 is all about travel, which is kind of funny since travel is all stopped right now. All the international flights here in Saudi Arabia canceled. People around the world, staying home and not traveling. Although a friend of mine sent me today an advertisement for cheap flights, and it's so amazing. Some flights are very, very cheap right now, like $1 for a flight. Okay, I'm gonna send that attendance link one more time. Let me copy and paste. Thank you, better. Okay, so travel is really strange right now. Our book was written in the time before the strangeness. So we're going to deal with the book and then we can open it up and talk about how things are a little different now. So we've got a reading today, but I think we can also listen to it story time style. And our first little discussion here is about travel and tourism. So, do many tourists come to your country or region? I think normally here in Saudi Arabia, millions and millions of people come here every year, especially here in Jeddah. From which countries? I would say all around the world. I mean, Mecca is pretty famous around the world as the destination that all Muslims travel to from every country, pilgrims. So you guys, for that purpose, have travelers coming from around the world, millions every year. And just recently, for 2030, we Saudi Arabia started regular tourist visas for people just coming to see Saudi Arabia, non-pilgrims who want to enjoy tourism here. So I think that's pretty interesting. As far as my country, Canada, we also get a lot of people traveling from around the world to see what's going on in Canada. All right, question 2. What do tourists do? Here, I think it would be interesting to think of some ideas for Saudi tourism that are non-pilgrim, non-Hajj, Umrah kind of stuff, other things for new people to do on a tourist visa. You guys have any ideas? Of course, there's the Corniche, but what else are interesting things for tourists to do around Saudi Arabia? Any ideas? You know, I had a friend, he's an American guy. He came to Saudi Arabia just a few months ago, and he traveled around to a few really amazing places I didn't even know existed. And he shared a bunch of pictures. It was really interesting. I think for me, I'm interested in going to visit Abha. I think it looks really beautiful there, but there are a lot of, yes, old cities, ancient sites, and those look pretty cool too. Okay, what's next? Ecotourism. I think we should talk about that one because it's one of our vocabulary words. And I know Canada has some ecotourism, and maybe we can take a look at a video from there. Because Canada has a lot of nature and very few people compared to a lot of other countries. So a lot of people go hiking and visit forests and see the polar bears and things like that. Okay, tourism. One good point is that tourism, you can make a lot of money because we have people coming from other countries and spending money. I guess now we're starting to see a new negative side of tourism, which is when there's a virus pandemic, travelers can spread this virus from one country to another country. So that's one negative side. And another is maybe that too many tourists can damage the environment or even some old building by not taking care of it. Or just so many people, they go there and throw garbage and do all that. Okay, part two here, just trying to find the main idea about this article as quickly as possible. So this is called skimming, where we just look at the article very quickly, some clues, the picture, the title, and maybe the first sentence, last sentence, and we want to identify the main idea of this article. Is it A, the article describes extreme activities that tourists can do? B, compares positive and negative effects of tourism? Or C, talks about the impact of a lot of tourists on a destination? So, take a quick look at the plane. We see some tourists at a very famous place where the plane almost hits them, and a lot of people like to go there and take pictures. I think it's very dangerous, but some people aren't too afraid of danger. All right, so let's see if we can just find a quick thing here. Voyage to the end of the earth. Let's go to the beach. Climbing to the top of the world. Difficult choices. And often the introduction or conclusion have some of the main ideas here. So, travelers stay home. We've got ecotourism. Can we visit these places without destroying them? Sounds like it's about the impacts of tourism. And our header here, tourism industry started to grow rapidly, been growing, more and more people traveling. It's wonderful, but what impact do large numbers of people have on these places? So that was a quick look, and I mean, from what I saw there, C seems to be my choice for the answer here, just because that's what we saw. All right, has everybody done the attendance? Just checking. We got 20 in our room here, and how many have answered the attendance? 19. So that means someone in the room didn't do the attendance yet, possibly. Okay, anybody else have problem hearing? Let me turn off and on. Okay. Nothing? I did have a little problem this morning. The internet was slow. Did anyone else notice that or have trouble logging in? Okay. Okay, looks like some can hear and some can't. If you can't hear, then you're not going to hear what I'm going to tell you to do. All right, so you can't hear, just do your own thing, read the text. Otherwise, we're going to do this together. On to part 3. Before we read, let's see what kind of information we need. There are 3 different destinations here, and number of tourists, and the impact on each place from large amounts of tourists visiting. So we're going to need to fill in that information, and then we've got a few more questions here. When did the tourism industry start to be successful? I think I read that in the intro. Why are cruises bad for the environment? Find 3 reasons. What have groups been doing to improve the environment on Everest, that very tall mountain? What action has the government of the Balearic Islands taken, and why? Okay, we're going to answer those questions and maybe take a quick look at vocabulary before we read, just to make sure we've got all these words and understand them, so we can deal with it when we see them. Pollution, you know. Equipment, tools and things you need to do the job. Rubbish is the British word for trash, garbage. Charge, you ask somebody for money for a product or service. In our vocabulary, challenges, difficult things to do. And ecotourism, that's traveling to some natural place and not damaging nature, protecting the environment. Okay, using this vocabulary to answer the questions. Number 1, if you have too much luggage and you try to get on a flight, the airlines will do this. When they ask you for money, which of our vocab words here is to ask for money? Someone type the answer in the box. Very nice, Adele, good job. Yes, charge. They charged me for my extra luggage. Number 2, on average, each person in the UK produces about 500 kilograms of which word means trash. Which of the words? Very nice, excellent, good job. Yes, rubbish. Okay, number 3. I don't have much kitchen something, just a microwave. Tools you need to do something. Now we've got a big word, appliances, but that's not in our word list here for this activity. Another one, excellent. Good job, guys. Equipment is correct. Number 4, speaking a new language can be one of the hardest somethings when you travel abroad, something difficult. Which of the vocabulary words in this activity means it's difficult? Nice, Adele, on the ball, good job. And number 5, something is a way of enjoying a holiday without damaging the environment. Yes, that is our ecotourism. Eco, I guess, means ecology, nature, the environment. And number 6, plastic is a major cause of yucky stuff in the oceans. Very nice. Now, I just realized today I forgot to start the recording on the class. We've missed a few minutes so far, but we'll try. Okay, there we go. Started the recording of the class. Don't worry, we didn't do anything like grammar and all that so far, but we're recording now. How you watch it and download it, I still don't know, but we're doing that. Okay, I think we've got our questions for now. We'll go back and do those later. So let's listen to the article and read along at the same time, and then we'll go back and answer these questions. It's kind of hard to squish it all in. I'll try and follow around.
Track 66, Unit 8C.
Okay, let me just check. Can you all hear the audio that I just played? Excellent. Then let us continue and listen to this article. Go back and do the questions. And here we go. From the top.
Track 66, Unit 8C.
All aboard. The tourism industry started to grow rapidly in the middle of the last century, and it's been growing ever since. In the last 20 years especially, more and more people have been traveling to distant places around the world. It's a wonderful thing to be able to travel to destinations we had previously only read about or seen on television. But what kind of impact do large numbers of people have on these places? A voyage to the end of the earth? A large cruise ship can carry as many as 6,000 passengers at a time, with about 24 million people going on cruises every year. Cruise ships drop about 90,000 tons of waste into the oceans every year, and each ship produces as much air pollution as 5 million cars. The effects of this are made even worse by the fact that cruises visit the same places over and over again, so the damage is repeated. In Patagonia, this has been having an effect on wildlife. The numbers of Magellanic penguins have been falling for some years now, for example. Climbing to the top of the world. Far fewer people go climbing or trekking in the Himalayas than take a cruise, but in the short climbing season each May, about 1,000 people try to climb Everest. At times, there are actually queues of climbers on the route to the top. The difficult conditions mean that everyone needs to take a lot of equipment with them. Unfortunately, for the last few decades, climbers have been leaving their equipment on Everest. In recent years, cleanup teams have been organizing expeditions just to pick up this rubbish. The teams are made up of local and international climbers. One group has brought over 8 tons of rubbish down from the mountain. Let's all go to the beach. What happens when a region of about 1 million people is visited by 13 million tourists every year? The Balearic Islands in the Mediterranean Sea have been dealing with this situation for decades. Where has the fresh water, the food, the petrol, and the electricity for 13 million tourists come from? And how have the islands maintained the quality of the beaches, the roads, and the countryside? Recently, the government of the Balearic Islands decided to charge tourists an eco-tax of €2 a day. This has been tried once before, but it wasn't a success. However, the challenges have been getting harder every year. The money from the tax is used to reduce the negative effects of tourism on the local environment. Difficult choices. So, should we travel or simply stay at home? Many destinations offer low-impact tourism, such as ecotourism. It's time to ask ourselves some difficult questions. Can we really visit the world's beautiful places without destroying them?
Okay, there's our first listening. And during that whole article, I was just thinking about maybe many of these places being empty now, normally millions of people visiting them, or all these millions of people on cruise ships, and thinking maybe they're empty right now with people staying home, which maybe in some ways is good for the environment, even though it's very inconvenient for us. So we listened once. Let's see if we can answer some of the questions here, and then we will go back and listen again. And that should just about do it for our morning class. All right, so this first one, cruise ship. Do you remember a place mentioned in this first paragraph? Which place is mentioned here? I see one here called Patagonia. And I think Patagonia is the place that answers question number 1 here. The next destination is the Himalayas, and that must be Mount Everest. And what else? Number 7, the third destination, those are these Balearic Islands that have beaches and many visitors here in the Mediterranean Sea. So that first column about the places mentioned in this article, we've got Patagonia, and we've got Mount Everest, and we've got the Balearic Islands. Later on, you can go on Google and find out more about these places. Where are they? Look at the map. Next, we can see tourists do stuff on a cruise ship. They go climbing, and then down here, they're at the beach, but we want to find out how many people. So on one cruise ship, there it is, our first sentence here. One large cruise ship can carry as many as 6,000 passengers at a time. That's a lot of people. I think that's more than all of the students at UJ in our campus. Maybe all the campuses put together. It's a lot of people, 6,000 on a cruise ship. Next, we want for the climbing season, how many people go up Everest in one climbing season. Okay, fewer people go climbing than take a cruise, but during the short climbing season, about 1,000 people try to climb Everest. That's just 1 month, 1,000 people. So that's like a lot of people every day. And down here, question number 3 is at the beaches on the Balearic Islands. That was a big number. Okay, these islands, there's 1 million people who live there, but we're interested in the tourists, and 13 million tourists. That's a lot of people. Okay, finally, the impact. What's the problem, the result, the consequences, the effects of so many people going to each of these 3 places? So the first one is Patagonia and the cruise ships. And we saw something down here. The last part is the problems. So I guess this Patagonia has penguins, and the number of penguins there goes down and down each year, which is not good. We lose the penguins, and that's bad because they're so cute. Okay, decreasing penguins. Next one, the impact on the Himalayas. I seem to remember something about garbage. We've got people lined up to climb that up. They take a lot of equipment, but climbers just leave stuff there on the mountain. So this is rubbish, lots and lots of rubbish. Okay, and finally, what's the problem in the Balearic Islands? Okay, negative effects of tourism on the environment. You've got a small place with 13 million people going there, and water, food, all that stuff. It's just causing damage to the environment. That's basically it. Okay, we got 4 more questions here to go over, and then we'll just listen one more time. When did the tourism industry start to be successful? I'm guessing it's, oh, what happened here? Are we still there? Checking, yep, it just got moved. Come back. I'm guessing with the picture of the plane that the tourism industry started to pick up as we got planes so people could travel easily instead of like riding a horse for 6 months. And here it is right in the intro, the middle of the last century. So now is the 21st century, last century, the 20th century, and in the middle, I guess that's like 1950s. Middle of the last century, roundabout then. Number 2, why are cruises bad for the environment? Here we've got 3 bad things that cruises do. Okay, so we've got 6,000 people on the boat so far. It's okay. But here's the first big problem. Waste, rubbish, garbage. The cruise ships drop 90,000 tons into the oceans. That's a lot of garbage. So one ship produces the same pollution as 5 million cars. Wow. And cruises go to the same places again and again. So they keep dumping the garbage in the same places and it piles up. And I think these penguins, that's another, it's not really pollution, it's the effect of the pollution. Okay, number 3, what are groups doing to improve the environment on Everest? I remember that one because I was paying attention. So if the problem is garbage that the climbers leave behind, how do you fix it? You go get the garbage. And here we go. In recent years, cleanup teams have been organizing expeditions just to pick up this rubbish. Sometimes I see, like when I was a student in school, sometimes my school would do some activity where the students go out and they pick up garbage around the school area or something like that. I think it's great. Go to the park, pick up garbage. One time I was in the park. Someone threw a water bottle just on the grass, and I went and picked it up and put it in the garbage. And the guy was looking at me like, I'm strange. Why are you picking up garbage? Well, someone's got to do it and keep it clean, and maybe it's someone's job, but we can all pitch in and help. Let's see what the next question is. Okay, the government did something about the problem with the Balearic Islands. All right, maybe I'll leave this one for you. What did the government do on the Balearic Islands to try to help the situation? While you guys are finding the answer and typing it in the chat box, I'm going to go deal with attendance, shut it down for the 9 o'clock class, and share the picture with you. So find the answer to question 4 here, and then type your answer in the box, and we'll check it in a couple minutes when I get the attendance. And I am still here, opening up my Excel right now. What's going on? Who is in class today? I'm gonna find out. All right, I got my timestamps. Username, ID. You see, I just shortened it up now. ID and name, much easier for me to deal with now. Data, sort, descending, no, ascending. We got it. Username. And a quick snapshot. 25 students. All right, I'm gonna drop the attendance picture in our WhatsApp group, and you can go and confirm. If your name should be there and it's not there, then in the BB chat room, tell me about it. But I think everybody's doing it okay now. Here we go, WhatsApp group and attendance. I think that's the one I just did. Checking today, 9:34. That is right now. Okay, what's up group? I just dropped our attendance from this 9 o'clock morning class, and I have shut down the Google Forms, no longer accepting any responses. We'll hit it again at 10 o'clock. Okay, does anybody have an answer for question number 4 here? Are you still there? Still hear me? Someone type a hi or a yes or a something. Okay, good. I'm not just, be funny if we went offline and I sit here just talking to my computer for another hour and a half. Okay, nice. So does anyone have an answer for that number 4? What did the government do? I remember one interesting word, ECOTAX. Let's go check it out. Okay. All right. Over here, government. There we go. Eco-tax. Here it is. Recently, the government of the Balearic Islands decided to charge tourists an eco-tax of €2 a day. So this is tourists who go there, they got to pay extra money. A lot of places do this. You travel and they have some kind of extra charge for the environment. Okay, Michelle, where are you? Type something. I saw over in over in the WhatsApp, Michelle said he's in class, but I don't see it. Where? Oh, there it is. Okay, Michelle, buddy, type something. Say hello. I'm gonna figure out how to send a private message, chat message. There you go. Okay. So now back to accepting responses, get the link, and we'll make sure Mr. Michel can get his attendance for today. Okay, great. We've got about 10 minutes left, and that means, if possible, I'd like to do a little more grammar review before we take a break. Did we answer all the questions? I think so. Yes, pretty much. We got a few discussion questions, but yeah, I think that's good for this article. And you guys know, I put all the audio files for Unit 8. You guys can listen on your own time. So we're going to take a break in 10 minutes. And then when we come back, we're going to talk about this assignment 3. For now, I think we can do another Kahoot to review. Okay, here's a question. You guys want to do grammar Kahoot or Quizlet vocabulary? Tell me your choice. All right, we got one vote for Quizlet. I'm fine with that. In fact, it's probably a good idea because we got to go through our vocabulary part 2. So it's probably a good choice. Let's do that for now. And our second class, maybe we can do a Kahoot. Here we go. Share. I like to share. Okay. Did we do both parts of grammar? Our vocabulary? I don't think we did this one. Here we go. So we're going to run through the vocabulary from part 2, and then I think that'll take us right to the end of our class this morning. Okay, so Misha, make sure you click the link I sent you in the private direct chat. Go do that and do it every hour, or else you'll be marked absent. Here we go. First word, baggage allowance. We just saw that the airlines will charge if you bring too much luggage and you exceed the baggage allowance. So when you fly, maybe they give you one bag, 23 kilos. Sometimes you get 2 bags, depends on the airline and the kind of ticket you have. It's how many bags you can take when you fly. Next one, customs check. Has anyone here flown to a foreign country? When you arrive at another country, then you have to go through the customs and immigration. And the immigration, they're going to check your passport. Customs, they just want to check to make sure you're not bringing any controlled items into the country. So, for example, here in Saudi Arabia, you can only bring one big box of cigarettes. You can't bring alcohol or pork. So they want to make sure people don't bring these kinds of things. Also, cash. There's usually a limit how much cash you can bring. And it's the custom guys who will check your bags. Next one, jet lag. Every time I fly home to Canada, it's very far, and like right now, what time is it in Canada? It's probably like the middle of the night there. So when you travel east-west, a long distance to a place in a different time zone, your body might be confused. So the sun is up, but you think it's nighttime because you're used to a certain time from the time zone of your origin, and the destination is different. So you just feel tired, and takes a few days before you can adjust to that one. Okay, word number 4, pigeon. And this is, I've got some right outside my window. My cat likes to sit and watch them and dreams of catching one someday. So it's those very common birds that you see cities all over the world, the gray kind of brownish birds that are in the city. Very common gray or brown bird that lives in cities around the world. Pigeons. Temperature. So you can, these days, a lot of people worry if they've got sick, so they check their body temperature, airports, things like that. We can check the temperature outside. What's the temperature today? I think it's like 29. So we've got the weather temperature, body temperature, all kinds of things. But if you say, I have a temperature, that's like I have a fever. So in this case, I have a temperature means my body is too warm, maybe sick, something like that. Okay, travel sickness. Some people get this and some people don't. Boat, plane, car, just the movement of the vehicle makes some people feel a little sick. So we have air sickness, car sickness, and seasick, being sick on a boat. Just your stomach feels strange because the movement of the vehicle. And I'm fortunate I don't really get this except maybe on a boat, but otherwise I'm okay. But some people are very sensitive. Next one, binoculars. This is a little tool, and it's got 2 tubes that you hold up to your eyes, and it lets you see things that are far away, but they look closer, they look bigger. So we've got telescope, just 1 tube, and the binoculars are 2 joined together. You use both eyes to look. Blood. Everybody's got them. Vampires like to drink it. It's the red stuff. You don't want to lose too much of that. Very important. Curious. I want to know what this word means. It means wanting to know about something. I'm curious about. Okay, drive. This isn't drive a car drive. This one here is why do people do things? People do things because they have drive. It's like your motivation or the force that makes you do something or achieve something. I have a drive to succeed. And yes, if you have a strong drive, that means you're going to try to achieve more. Next one, to engage. One meaning is when you make a plan to get married, but we're not talking about that one. This is like right now, here in class. I'm a teacher, you're the students, we're trying to engage together. Just like have a connection, do something, get your attention. Hey guys, how's it going? So I'm trying to engage the class, get your attention, and we focus on our studying together. Okay, grow. Lots of things grow. Plants and vegetables, trees and grass, and of course, living creatures grow. But we have grow size, like when you were a child, that compared to now, you had to grow in size. But there's also grow inside and your maturity level. Okay. Still with me? Oh, okay, Michelle. I sent it in a private chat, but now we'll just send it in the group chat. I sent it in a private chat. So with each of you guys in this class, okay, who's here? Who's here? There we go. Basil, I've got my attendee controls. Send a private chat message. Hi. So I can send a private chat message to each of you or just in the main group chat area. So I'm gonna just show you what that looks like. And we're going to practice the functionality of using the software because eventually you guys are going to be more active in this class. And I've got the perfect idea, but we're going to have to practice it because it's a little tricky. There we go. Okay. So I just dropped that in our class group. That's just a picture that shows I've sent a private direct chat to Michelle and Basil just to explore that functionality. And back to Quizlet, we've got a couple minutes. I think we're not going to finish all these words before our break time. Let's just come back after break. Michelle, go do that attendance right now, and the rest of you can get an early start on our break time. Come back 10 o'clock sharp, okay? And I'm gonna just do that.